Hi, it's Vivian here, and this is my very first vlog update, and yes, I hope to regularly update this channel in the future. And the biggest reason I started vlogging is because of a recent confession I made to my parents. Earlier last week, I told my parents that I don't want to go to grad school following my graduation next year. And none of us were prepared for the conversation because we always believed that going to grad school is what I would do, and it was the one and only option. Not that we look down upon other alternatives, but for a very long time we've been stuck in the notion that this is the most natural and straightforward and possibly safest thing for me to do. And for the past 3.5 years in university, I have done many things to convince myself and everyone around me that climbing up the ladder is what I would definitely do. A few months ago, I wrote to a very close friend of mine on my growing uncertainty about the future. I told him that I was worried about financing my graduate studies. And the first thing he told me was that I should make sure that doing a master or PhD was exactly what I wanted to do. And I told him that going to grad school was certainly what I wanted. But Dave, or should I say Professor Randall, I lied to you. Because I was also lying to myself. You asked the right question, because you made me realize that I never gave myself other options. Now that I think about it, maybe going to grad school isn't the best option for me at this moment. For a very long time, I tried to convince myself that I will fall in love with what has been planned ahead of me. And last year, I was at the University of Cambridge doing a summer school, and my lab supervisor asked me about my thoughts on the future, and I told him that I was still exploring the different possibilities and trying on various things before making the final decision. And he said, yeah, that's a sensible thing to do. I thought so too. But the fact is, I wasn't doing enough exploring, because I was still stuck in the idea that whatever exploring I do, I would still eventually land on the research position. And as time went by, just thinking about committing myself to a certain field of knowledge for 3 to 5 years becomes a painful thing to do. The idea repelled me even further when I have to go through all the examinations before applying for grad school. I have always hated exams. I'm sure most of you do. And yes, I considered it one of the most effective ways to dehumanize a person. My scores may be fine, but they don't mean anything to me, and I don't want to be defined by them because they reflect nothing about who I am, what I have done, and what I want to do. The thought that I will be judged by numbers and letters sickens me. It always has, ever since secondary school. But back then, I was too young to come up with a valid argument. And I surrendered to the system because I knew it would get me somewhere free from the fear of not being the top of class. And how pathetic is that? A teenager with the wildest dreams and ambitions decided to hide her true self in order to survive a system that may very well destroy the fundamental reasons that led to her compromise in the first place. I'm lucky because my dreams never left me. And I can tell you how I really feel right now. I know some of you may think that I'm being very naive and childish for not wanting to give in. You may think that I should somehow settle down before pursuing my dreams, but what is the point of settling down if I'm not moving towards my goals? Is it ever too early to start going after your dream? I have only heard of being too late, but never the opposite. I have given up enough ideas in the past to make way for a future I no longer desire. And I can't bear the thought of letting my ideas grow cold anymore. I don't want to wait any longer, because how long do I have to wait before it is the right time to start doing something I like? To me, the answer has always been now. Another reason why I have the urge to make this video is that I know many of you have tremendous faith in me. I know some of you think very highly of me, or even look up to me, regard me as a mentor, role model, or inspiration even. Some of you may think I'm eccentric, and that's all great, because I'm very grateful that so many people have decided to put up with a narcissist like myself out of pure admiration. I have always encouraged my friends to follow their heart and to break away from the box they live in and embrace their true selves. But I'm afraid to say that I have failed you. Because what kind of inspiration am I if I didn't follow my heart, break away from the box I live in, and embrace my true self? I'm no role model, but merely a liar, hypocrite, and coward. I don't deserve your trust unless my thoughts and actions are in sync. In the recent speech I gave regarding gender inequality, I said, quote, I don't want to be someone who can only sit in front of the laptop, read all the horrible things that happen around the world, get angry for 5 minutes, and move on, unquote. Because I wanted to make a difference, but how can I be an inspiration to others if I am indifferent to my own desires, or if I neglect my own dreams? I know some of you may feel that I'm wasting golden opportunities here. Yes, I know I have been extremely privileged to have come this far. But you know what a bigger waste is? To ignore what I love and continue with something that I know I don't enjoy. There is no perfect moment in life for you to start going after what you love. You either start right now or don't. And most important of all, nobody knows more about Vivian than Vivian herself. So you don't get to decide what is worthy of my time and energy. I don't regret the time that I have spent in different labs. The experiences have been tremendously inspiring. But I've come to realize that the preparations I have done so far is not making me any more confident about the future. Moreover, climbing up the ladder is not how I envision my years to come. Because guess what? Life is not a ladder. And I shouldn't have to choose one ladder. The reason I'm able to enjoy my life to the fullest so far is not because I'm good at one thing. I do. But because I get to do so many things that I love doing. Writing stories, recording reviews, drawing, advocating for equality and common sense, and scanlating. I cannot imagine having to sweep these aside to make way for a greater purpose, because these are all good purposes for me to be alive. And I want to get better at all these things in the future. I don't want to sacrifice this part of my life for a seemingly destined future just because I have never considered other possibilities. I love science, And heck, I still want to be a scientist. I still consider myself a biologist to be. But I also love art and literature and history. And I want to be able to fully embrace all these things that I love, and because they all mean so much to me. I don't want my life to be a ladder. I want it to be an open field of possibilities, and I want to be a part of this awesomeness of humanity. And now would be a good time for you to ask me, so what exactly do you want to do, Vivian? This brings me back to why I started this vlog in the first place. I have been a netizen for a good 10 years or so, and the internet has profoundly changed my life. I can never overstate the positive influences the internet has brought me. And looking at my own Twitter profile, I realized that how the internet has become an inseparable part of my life. On my profile, I said I am, quote, a biologist to be, atheist, feminist, occasional writer, painter, and translator, always a Scandinavian artist, unquote. And to be very honest with you, apart from the first item, all the other titles that I identify myself with are brought to me thanks to the internet. I have always wanted to be a zoologist as a child, and I still want to be one, but I would have never come out as an atheist or a feminist if I had not witnessed the efforts other atheists and feminists have done in trying to make the world a better place. And I would have never called myself a writer or an artist if it weren't for the appreciations and recognition that my friends online have given me unconditionally. And I would have never got into the business of scanlating, which I consider to be one of the most significant achievements of my life. No kidding. Really, I have been extremely fortunate to have received so much support, encouragement, and trust that I don't deserve. I'm grateful for all my friends across the world whom I have met online and even later in real life as I travel from place to place. I have learned so much from the internet, and I've done so much with so many brilliant people that I met here. Many who grew up before the age of internet don't believe in the power of online communities. They don't trust the people here, and they find it hard to relate the internet with genuineness. For me, however, the internet has long gone beyond a hobby or a pastime, but more like a commitment. And because I've learned so much from the internet, I want to try to return the favor to this extremely talented community. I told my mom that I wanted to do something informative, not necessarily educational, that's too big a word, but something interesting and fresh. And she thought I wanted to become a teacher and pursue a degree in education. But that's not what I have in mind. First of all, I'm apparently trying to avoid pursuing a degree here. And secondly, learning for me is no longer an up-down process. A traditional classroom setting does not appeal to me anymore, nor is the idea of someone having absolute authority over you just because of their age or title, but not because they necessarily know more than you do. The internet has taught me that everyone can learn from everyone else. Wait, no, that's what Confucius taught me. The ever so wise Confucius said, "Whenever I see three men walking side by side, I know my teacher is among them." I don't want to be a teacher in a classroom. I want to be a source to others and still remain a learner. I don't care about titles or scores. I just love learning. I want to continue to learn with the internet, but I also want to contribute to this community as a content creator, hence this vlog. This channel marks the beginning of a personal project as well as a personal journey. I will not only be documenting my life, but also make this place a resource for others. I have previously made a couple of audio commentaries on certain cultural topics, and I would like to continue doing that, but this time in the form of vlogs. There's nothing I love more than creating. It's now my favorite verb. I love creating things that others can appreciate, and I love being original. I'd also want to share what I know and love with you, and hopefully make you feel that your time on the internet has not been wasted. I want to prove that the internet is the best place mankind has ever created to exchange ideas and information and how to make the world a better place. I don't know how far this project can go, but it's something I would really like to do right now. It may be a bumpy ride, and I may face many unforeseen problems, but hey, I'm 22. I have nothing to lose. And that's the end of my first vlog. I'm glad I finally got this out of my chest. Whew. And I'm happy. It's actually pretty hard for me to not have a good day. I always have something to be positive about whatever happens on a certain day. The real world may be frustrating sometimes, but the world in my head, it's always full of exciting adventures. I'll see you next time.
You talk a lot about Monsters Inc. because I think it's on your t-shirt, and you should talk more about it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're singing?
Me
Video.
singing. Okay. And then?
Yeah, cover version.
Cover version. Okay. Any cover?
What do you mean?
Do you have other requirements? Like language or genre?
Japanese song.
Sorry?
Japanese song.
Japanese. Okay. Well, that's kind of the only... I either do English or Japanese. I sometimes do Cantonese, but they don't come out very well because I always choose...
You can also do Cantonese.
No, I mean like... my voice is more like a guy voice, so it's very hard for me to pick it.
It's very special.
Okay, me singing. Okay, that's one option.
I want to learn more about American literature from you because I'm going to take that course next semester. So
Okay,
I think that will be
U.S.
very
literature.
helpful. Yeah.
Okay.
Any type of literature is okay.
Children's literature?
That's lovely.
Yeah, children's literature. Well, I was in the U.S. when I was 10, so pretty much more children's literature kind of person. Okay.
Just literature.
Okay, thank you.